Hello everyone, welcome to another piece of content as part of Tick Bite Prevention Week from the What Makes Viruses Tick project. My name is Sam Langford and I'm the Public Engagement Project Manager for What Makes Viruses Tick, a brand new public engagement project coming out of the MRC, University of Glasgow Centre for Virus Research. It's Tick Bite Prevention Week and we are getting to meet the partners, the people involved, the creators who are helping us to make this project happen. And today we're going to speak to another wonderful member of our partnership team. It is Ailey Call from the Conservation Volunteers. So I'm going to welcome Ailey onto the call now. Hello.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Grand. Okay, so the first thing I always want to open up in these conversations is who are you and what do you do?
Sure. So I'm Ailey, and like you said, I work for the Conservation Volunteers, and we basically work within communities to try and improve green spaces for nature and for people. I personally run TCV's citizen science projects, so focusing on getting communities out and about, outside, having a look at what's out there, sort of taking notice, recording nature, and sort of getting the benefits from that, feeling the good vibes from being out in our beautiful green spaces in Scotland.
So we're going to come back and talk a little bit about some of the projects, or at least one specific project in a little bit, just to find out about some of the things that I know that some people or most people watching will absolutely love the creatures we're going to speak about. But jumping back to a creature that people perhaps aren't as keen on, the tick, which is what our project is all around. We're looking at tick-borne diseases in Scotland. So what has been the Conservation Volunteers' involvement in What Makes Viruses Tick project so far?
Sure. Well, when we first heard about this project, we were obviously very interested. I think anyone who works outdoors knows, especially over the last sort of little while, that we have to be starting to take a little bit more notice of ticks. Like I say, all of our staff work outside. We have volunteers out and about in the countryside all week, every week. So it's definitely something that was really interesting to us. So we're really, really happy to get involved and get on board. And so far, we've been helping you guys to run some tick training. We've done some online events with you, and we are setting up at the moment a little website so that you guys can get your tick sightings recorded a little bit more streamlined, hopefully. We've done some similar things in the past with some of our other projects. So we're making a lovely, shiny new webpage for you guys so that we can get all that good data that hopefully people are going to send in nice and easily and in a nice sort of all in one place.
So it's a really good point to bring up, actually, is that for those who maybe aren't aware of what the What Makes Viruses Tick project did in 2021, yeah, that's right. Yeah, time
Yes.
time doesn't mean
No.
anything anymore. We encouraged anyone who was unfortunate enough to come across a tick, whether they spotted one like on a blade of grass, or they'd been bitten by one, or someone else had been bitten by one, or the dog had been bitten by one, to report that to us, to tell us where they'd seen it, and allow us to build up a map of tick sightings across Scotland and the UK as well. And we got a huge number, which is good in terms of data collection, but also not so great in terms of how many people are being affected by these animals. But it's great that we have this opportunity to work with yourselves to streamline that process and make it even easier for people to tell us all about it. It's a really good way for us to run citizen/community science, which, like, look at that for a segue. What do you see as the importance of community or citizen science in society?
I mean, maybe since my entire job focuses on citizen science, I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's massively important. I think that the impact that communities can have just cannot be sort of overstated enough. There's only so much that scientists can do, and I know that you guys all work so hard in the background at the university and stuff like that, but getting people out on the ground, boots on the ground, is really difficult sometimes. And people who have a bit of a passion or a bit of an interest for things, it's amazing what they can sort of bring and add to projects. And we've seen that, like with TCV, we've had really successful projects, lichen projects, a Deadwood survey project, And all of the data that we collected has come from volunteers and citizen scientists. So I think it's pretty cool.
And that data you collect, is that open source data as well? Is that just available for anyone to go and look at?
Yeah, anyone who wants to have a look at that can. Yeah.
Awesome. No, that's really good to have that. Just like kind of the transparency as well for people to see what has been collected, how it's been used, where it ends up. Like, really,
Yeah, of
really good
course.
thing.
It's so helpful for us. We can use a lot of the data that we've collected to inform the work that we do, and sort of look at areas where we can focus for our sort of broader countryside improvement, and get our volunteers out planting trees and doing invasives removals or anything like that. Loads of that is able to be sort of dictated by information that we're getting through citizen science and through volunteers.
And yeah, as you say, you can only do that by having that involvement of those people, members of the public that really want to actively get involved in science. Because I think that's one thing I always find with citizen science is that it kind of bridges that gap in a way between the ivory tower of the academy or academia, and involves people and gives them a sense of purpose and ownership over what they're doing. Does it make sense to you?
Absolutely. And it's amazing how much people learn. And it's also amazing how much people already know. Every time I go out to work with communities and sort of go out to instruct people on how to carry out citizen science, I learn new things from them as well. They can always bring so much to the table.
Yeah, it's that kind of two-way engagement, isn't it? Like, it's not just about the experts going out to work with communities and throw things at them. You're very much getting a lot back in return.
Yeah, all that local knowledge that it would be impossible for me to know the intricacies of every community in Scotland, but I can go and be like, right, where's the best place for us to look for this thing here? And 10 people will have a different answer for me.
So it's something actually for another one of these videos that's going out. I don't know whether it's before or after this one, so you may have watched it already, or you might be about to watch it. We're going to be speaking to another team at the University of Glasgow who are looking at tick ecology with a focus on bacterial infections, so Lyme's disease, which is quite fairly common across Scotland. But as part of that, it will be focusing working in communities. With them to find out what they want, what they need, and how they can get involved. So all of this stuff is going to work really well in terms of us working with that team, and with you folks. And yeah, it's a really exciting time for this project. So enough about our project, which is something I'm really passionate to talk about, but more about other things that TCV are got going on. An animal that is definitely infested with ticks, hedgehogs. And you folks have a project called the Hogwatch Project, is that right?
Yeah, so we have our Hogwatch Scotland project. It's one of our most successful citizen science projects, working in collaboration with the People's Trust for Endangered Species and British Hedgehog Preservation Society. And that project, at the root of it, we have citizen scientists recording hedgehog sightings and sending those to me. I'm also building a lovely map, just like you guys with the ticks. I'm sure they're probably they're found in many of the same places because, as you mentioned, poor hedgehogs are often troubled by ticks. A lot of the hedgehog stuff that we get, hedgehogs that we see in the reportings that we see, they've got wee ticks around their faces and things. So yeah, it's a really cool project. We do a lot of community outreach. I spend a lot of time going into schools and making hedgehog-friendly schools, encouraging people to get involved and learn a little bit about hedgehogs and sort of spread the word, which is super good fun.
So what's the lay of the land for hedgehogs? I know that there's a lot of talk at the moment about their numbers dropping quite rapidly. Is that what we're seeing?
Their numbers are declining pretty rapidly. It's very difficult with any animal, but mammals can be really challenging to have like an exact sort of census of the number that there are. But we definitely know that they're declining. I think the most recent estimates are that there are less than 1 million left in the whole of the UK, compared to 36 million 50 years ago. So really taking a bit of a nosedive. An interesting thing about hedgehogs, though, is that they're actually doing better in urban environments than in rural ones. So we find that their populations are a little bit more stable in the towns and cities, which is really nice to bring to people. We can sort of connect with people who might not necessarily think they would have a lot of nature on their doorstep, but they might have a wee hedgehog out there.
And why do we reckon that is? Is it like it's warmer in cities, or there's more food, or?
I think there's a few things, sort of habitat availability. They really rely on good cover, and they don't like being in open spaces. So countryside, lots of sort of amalgamation of the countryside in Scotland, ripping out of hedgerows, making huge big fields so that it's easier for arable sort of practices. Mean that we're definitely seeing a bit more of a loss of habitat in the countryside, and then things like pesticides that are used on crops. Also, I think we kind of take a little bit care of them. People like to leave out food, things like that. So we're sort of able to help them a little bit more where we are.
So on that note, then, if you've got this project, we've got citizen scientists who are like collecting data and giving you sightings. Is there ways that people can get involved still?
Yeah,
To
absolutely. So if anyone ever sees a hedgehog, you can send an email, or if you log on to the Hogwatch Scotland website, if you just type Hogwatch Scotland into Google, it's the first one that comes up. You can submit a sighting through there. So we just need a time and a location, ideally a grid reference, but a postcode works too. And the status of the hedgehog, because unfortunately, quite a lot of our sightings are hedgehogs that have been struck by cars on the roads. And then this summer, we do nocturnal surveys. So if people are looking to get a bit more involved, maybe get their hands on a wee hedgehog, we run some training courses throughout the sort of early summer, and then we go out at night with big torches like loonies in parks and try and find hedgehogs, and we tag them, weigh them, do all kinds of good stuff like that, so that hopefully we can come back in the following years and catch them again and learn a little bit more about what they get up to.
Well, that sounds like the perfect opportunity for people who want to see a hedgehog, but also who want to really contribute to some really cool science.
Yeah, so there's no other hedgehog monitoring taking place like that in Scotland. It happens down in England in a few places, but we're the only ones doing it up here. So it's pretty cool if you want to get involved. And all the information for that will be on the website as well when those dates are coming up. It's all popped up there.
Well, when this video goes out, we'll have some of those links that we can share alongside it so that people can go and check out what's happening with TCV Scotland. Ailey, thank you so much for coming and have a chat with us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. We're all very excited to be getting involved with this project.
Oh, I can't wait for the website to be up and running and ready, especially as we're getting into that spring season now, and we're going to be getting more people getting in touch to say the ticks are back and they're biting my dog or they're biting my cat. But that's why it's great to have you folks on board to help us make that nice and streamlined and as easy to use as possible.
Hopefully we can get out and do some surveying with you in the summer as well. I know you've got some big fun plans.
Yes, lots of things coming. Thank you so much, everyone who's watched along. Please do drop any comments below this video, and we'll try and get back to you as much as possible. Look out for the other content that we've got going out as part of Tick Bite Prevention Week. And if you do see a tick, there's contact details on the account you're watching where you can report your sightings. And hopefully, if you're watching this in a couple of weeks, there'll be a website that you can go to report those sightings as well. For now, though, folks, take care. See you soon and watch out for ticks.